This video shows real moments when an ordinary flight turned into a plane crash within seconds. No movie scenes, no reenactments, just raw aviation footage captured as disaster unfolded in real time. From sudden loss of control to terrifying impact, each clip shows how fast everything can go wrong in the air. Watch closely, because these are the moments pilots and passengers never saw coming. On June 24, 2022, a Russian Il-76 military transport plane crashed shortly after takeoff from Diaghilevo Air Base near Ryazan. One of the engines reportedly caught fire right after departure, and the crew tried to make an emergency landing, but the aircraft came down hard and the crash turned fatal. 5 people were killed and 4 others were injured.
Летит, сука!
Уф, блядь. Вон, пиздец. Еба. Все.
Ой,
На нахуй, еб.
Тюма! Еба! Это пиздец.
On July 10, 2006, a Russian Navy Tu-134 was taking off from Gvardieyskoye Air Base near Simferopol, Crimea, when a bird strike caused the left engine to fail and catch fire. The crew rejected the takeoff, but the jet ran off the runway and burned after coming to a stop. Everyone on board survived.
Вот сука, на привод похуярил, смотри. Бля!
Охренеть.
Пожарка! Пожарную команду к самолету! Пожарка!
On November 27, 2022, a small plane crashed into power lines while approaching Montgomery County Air Park near Gaithersburg, Maryland, leaving the pilot and passengers seriously injured but alive. The NTSB later found that the cause was the pilot descending below published minimum altitude during a low-visibility instrument approach, which led to a collision with a power line tower. Uploaded on June 3, 2021, this footage was filmed at Lake Hood in Anchorage, Alaska, and shows a floatplane getting into trouble on the water in strong wind. According to the video description, the likely cause was loss of control during taxiing or turning in gusty conditions, when the airplane was allowed to get into an unsafe downwind position instead of staying pointed into the wind. On August 17, 2025, a light aircraft crashed near Tonkaris in Kazakhstan's Akmola region, about 55 kilometers from Astana, killing both people on board. Authorities said the plane was on a general aviation flight, but the cause of the crash was not officially established at the time and remained under investigation. On September 2, 2023, a Cessna 172S on an instructional flight crashed during initial climb from Centennial Airport in Inglewood, Colorado, after striking multiple geese. The bird strike caused a loss of engine power, and the instructor carried out a forced landing on a golf course where the airplane nosed over. Both people on board survived with minor injuries. On December 8, 2021, a Douglas Super D C-3 made a wheels-up emergency landing at Merrill Field in Anchorage, Alaska, after departing Ted Stevens Anchorage International Airport for Kodiak. Shortly after takeoff, the aircraft suffered a loss of engine power and could not continue the climb, forcing the crew to put it down gear up. Both pilots survived without injury. On August 16, 2024, a Fouga Magister crashed into the Mediterranean Sea during an airshow off Le Lavandou in southern France, in full view of spectators on the shore. The pilot was killed. French investigators later concluded that the crash was caused by pilot incapacitation under positive G-force during the display, which led to the aircraft hitting the water. On March 4, 2026, a Piper PA-28 crashed into a residential backyard in Phoenix, Arizona, after striking two homes while trying to return to Deer Valley Airport. The flight instructor, the student pilot, and a person inside one of the homes were injured, but all survived. Early reports said the airplane had some kind of mechanical trouble before the crash, but the official cause was still under investigation as of March 8, 2026. On February 27, 2026, a Bolivian Air Force C-130 crashed in El Alto near La Paz after it landed and veered off the runway, plowing into vehicles on a nearby avenue. Security cameras captured the moment the aircraft slid across the area before the impact. Officials said bad weather was a factor, but the full cause remained under investigation.
No se sabe
On December 17, 2024, a Kamaka Air Cessna 208B training flight crashed into a vacant building just after takeoff from Daniel K. Inouye International Airport in Honolulu, Hawaii, killing both pilots on board. The aircraft went out of control almost immediately after departure, but as of March 8, 2026, the NTSB had issued only a preliminary report and had not yet released a final probable cause. On January 4, 2026, a small plane crashed into the Rio Negro near Paracatuba in Iranduba, Amazonas, Brazil, after witnesses saw it flying low and making unusual maneuvers over the water. The pilot and one passenger survived with minor injuries after bystanders rushed in to rescue them. The official cause had not been released at the time, so the crash remained under investigation. On September 15, 2023, an amphibious Seawind 3000 crashed during takeoff from Lake Sammamish near Bellevue, Washington. The airplane hit a lake swell during the step phase, skipped across the water, then pitched up, rolled, and slammed back into the lake. The NTSB found that the cause was the pilot's loss of control after encountering the swell and skipping during takeoff. On October 27, 2022, a Canadair CL-415 crashed on Mount Calcinera near Lingua Glossa on the slopes of Mount Etna in Sicily, Italy, while fighting a wildfire. The aircraft had just dropped its load of water when it descended into rising terrain and struck the mountainside, killing both pilots. I could confirm the impact with terrain from contemporaneous official reconstruction and multiple accident summaries, but I did not find a publicly available final report stating a more detailed, formal probable cause. On March 6, 2026, a small plane made an emergency landing on Indiantown Road in Jupiter, Florida, after losing power shortly after takeoff. The pilot brought the aircraft down on the busy road without hitting any cars, and no one on board or on the ground was hurt. The reported cause was a sudden loss of engine power, but as of March 8, 2026, the official cause had not yet been released and remained under investigation.
Florida. This guy must have had to stick it here, I assume. I don't know where it came from. I turned around to get a video of it, but he literally is in the middle of...
That's the pilot. Fucking student pilot.
When he landed, there was a red light, and there was no car. And I was right behind him. And he landed.
On October 20th, 2023, a Piper PA-28-180 was damaged during landing at McKellar-Sipes Regional Airport in Jackson, Tennessee, after it went out of control on the runway and exited the pavement. All 3 people on board survived. The NTSB determined the cause was the pilot's failure to maintain directional control during the landing rollout, which led to the runway excursion. On September 25, 2023, an experimental Sling 4 TSI crashed near San Pedro, California, while returning to Zamperini Field in Torrance after the engine lost power on approach. The NTSB found that the crash was caused by a total loss of engine power after the number 4 cylinder exhaust valve failed from overheating and excessive wear. On September 22, 2023, an experimental amateur-built Golden Circle T-Bird 2 crashed near Arlington, Washington, after taking off from Arlington Municipal Airport during what witnesses described as a series of practice takeoff maneuvers. The pilot was killed when the airplane began a right turn, the left wing separated in flight, and the aircraft went down. The NTSB found that the crash was caused by an improper repair to the forward left wing spar, which led to the wing separation. On October 2, 2023, a Cessna 340A was damaged at Hayward Executive Airport in Hayward, California, after it suddenly rolled across a taxiway and into the runway safety area before striking uneven ground. The pilot and passenger were not injured. The NTSB found that the accident was caused by the pilot's sudden incapacitation from previously undiagnosed heart disease, which led to a loss of control on the ground.